guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So we're here to just play a little bit more with our really, very basic junk journal that we're making here. And hopefully, if you're making a similar type of thing, hopefully you're enjoying the process and yours is coming along really nicely too. So all we're going to do is just continue on with obviously this, in the same vein as we were doing it in the last episode or in the last video. So I'm working my way through the journal. Now, I've talked about this before. I often just jump around in the journal and kind of fill in pages, as I fancy. So I might turn, more to the back and do some pages there. The reason being is because I don't like doing them all consecutive order, because then if you run out of something or if you suddenly think of an idea, it ends up that you have that all clumped together, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to, move through and do some little bits and bobs further in. So obviously here I've got another one of these thicker pages. So what we can do is make a little sort of fold out piece to pop on this page. So I've just got some 160 GSM paper here. And again, I'm just going to now cut down a piece here. It's not the biggest piece in the world. And I just want to make a little sort of folding piece. So I'm just going to fold that up like that. And I was planning on having it this way round, but actually I think it might be nicer folding like this, to be honest. So I think we'll do that, and then I'm just going to fold this piece up like that. Yeah. In fact, let's just do that as a sort of matchbook box. I still struggle to say that for some reason. So I'm just going to trim it down at the side, and then all I want to do is trim the bottom off, because at the moment it's a little bit long to actually tuck into there. So hopefully now that's a little bit better. And then I'm just going to glue that down just like that. Oops, I'm just keeping a stick pin in my glue so it doesn't clog up whilst I'm doing the video. So press that down. If you followed the last video, what we're doing here is trying to make a journal that really is using the most basic supplies. So hopefully really accessible for most people. You would be able to get hold of something similar. Now I am using my, a selection of my Digi flowers. They are only cheap and things like that. So, hopefully they would be accessible to everyone should you want them. But obviously I realise not everyone has a printer, and of course, you might not want to go and buy them anyway. Excuse me. In which case, it's absolutely fine. You can just use flowers from a magazine or a book or, anywhere you like. Maybe an old birthday card, something like that. You don't have to use my Digi ones. So please don't, feel that you have to use them. I'm just using them because obviously, I have them here and it makes it nice and easy. So I've just got some doily here. I haven't coffee dyed the doily or anything. So just wondering how to have it. Shall I have it on there or like to the side? I might just have it to the side. So again, just glue that down. And we're really just aiming to keep this like super simple. And it will, hopefully take shape really quickly, really easily, and not be sort of off-putting, because I know that sometimes when I first got journaling and I would watch videos and it actually was a little bit overwhelming how much stuff there was. Not just in terms of supplies, but, in terms of methods that people were using and materials and, various different things and the different fold outs and all of that stuff. I know that I found a little bit, oh, you know, where do I start? Overwhelming. So this hopefully is just taking it right back to basics and, you know, making it really nice and accessible for everyone. And I'm not trying to be patronising when I say that, you know. I mean, I'm just merely saying what I found, you know, to be the case when I just was starting out making journals. So just deciding how to have my lace. Obviously, I'm not doing any ruffles or anything in this journal because I'm keeping it really nice and super simple. I have brought along a stamp. So, I mean, again, if you watched my, you know, starting out beginners supplies that I would recommend. I mean, I know that I did recommend there getting some stamps. I still stand by that because I just think actually, I mean, stamps really are a wonderful way to get lots of different looks, you know, by using, actually, I'm just going to use my new ink pad because that one's a bit older, so not that inky. I still stand by that because I think stamps really are a brilliant way to get lots of different looks, you know, with minimal supplies, because obviously you're just buying the stamps and then that's it. So there's that butterfly, and I just stamped that straight onto the piece, so, you know, not even got any layering or anything like that going on there. But if you wanted to decorate something up, I finally dug out some sheet music to bring along for the video. So what you could do, I mean, that's not very patterned, unfortunately, but if you just tear a little strip off, and I'm trying to keep this as thin as possible, I'm going to just put that along the bottom there. So again, you know, barely anything to this, but looks really pretty. I'm wishing that I hadn't used my wet glue for that doily, because you can probably see, hopefully that will dry and won't be noticeable. But yeah, for some reason it's marking that doily terribly. In fact, I'm tempted to see if I can peel these flowers up and do it again. Oh, look at the mess that glue has made on that page. Right. Peel these flowers up as carefully as I can. In fact, I can probably just do that. I didn't like, you could see sort of black marks through that doily, and unfortunately they have changed that glue and it's just not very good now for sticking down doilies. So what I'm going to do, because obviously that's quite a mess now, I'm just going to take some of my sheet music and pop that down and still have some doily tucked behind it like that. So, you know, hopefully that's just going to all cover up really well. So I've got my 3-in-1, so I shall use that this time, so hopefully it won't be marking that doily. It's so frustrating when they change products like that. I mean, just find it really annoying, because things then don't work as you are used to them working, and obviously now I've got to shop around and try and find something else that I like just as much. So it's very irritating. And of course they don't even tell you, you know, they haven't written on the bottle new formula or anything like that. So it's a bit naughty really when these shops do that. Okay, so now I'll just stick the flowers back down over the top of there. Okay, that's better. That was just bothering me when I could see that messy glue, and, you know, I didn't have 100% faith that it was going to dry clear, so I'd rather get rid of it and not have that as a sort of potential worry, really. Right, so we can have our matchbox book there, and we could just have it as a tuck spot, so we could tuck something in behind, I think. So, I mean, we could have it right in the corner, I guess. maybe there. Just having a look to see if I just have, actually I've got some teeny bit of lace here. Might be nice to have a bit of lace kind of hanging off of there. And then that running along there. Yeah, I think that's just kind of working slightly better for me. So we just glue this one down. Like that. Just take my dry wipe. Should have probably inked up the sheet music a bit, but just try and ink it up a little bit now. And then I'm just going to have that little bit of lace, just literally off to the side, kind of, you know, in no particular place, just sort of haphazardly put, but hopefully, hopefully looks pretty in that sort of haphazard way. And then obviously we can just have that lace just running down the side there. So just have that there. I'm just wondering whether it would have looked better on the other side. No, let's have it there. So I'm just going to run the glue straight down the edge. Like that. Okay. Okie dokie. I mean, you could always add some buttons or something if you've got some buttons. I mean, again, I'm trying to use things that I think people would be able to access and have, you know, potentially laying around or certainly easy to access. So excuse my arm going obviously across the screen, but you know, you could just have a couple of buttons there. They look quite pretty. Maybe up there actually. Might put them up there. So let me just sort of balance my page down. So we'll just have this one like that, and then we'll have this one. Oops. Literally covered in glue now. Covered in glue now. Oops. It's all just moving around. Right, so best not turn that page just yet because that button's obviously quite loose. But what we can do is obviously just pop in a little journaling card of sorts. So let me see what I've got here beside me. We could just pop, again, maybe just one of these. Okey-dokey. Oops. Not very good cutting going on today for some reason. Some days you just have worse cutting than others, I notice. Well, I find. I don't know whether everyone else finds, but today's obviously a bad day when it comes to cutting. Oh, and when it comes to inking, obviously, as well. So keep thinking I'm going to buy some of those like makeup brushes things for the distressing. Maybe I'll get on better with those. Right. Okay, so we can just tuck that in there, and of course you could tuck some other things in there as well. But for the moment we'll just keep it, you know, nice and basic. So then we've got obviously just a couple of blank coffee dyed pages. So again, you could just decorate them up. You could do like a little bit of stamping, or you could just pop some doily or something on them. just so you've got something going on really. So again, I mean, you're not bulking your journal out like this, and you're not using any elaborate things. You are just literally using, you know, the most basic supplies that we're using anyway, but you're just then creating a little bit of consistency and you know, decorative interest, I guess, on what otherwise would potentially just be completely blank page. So for instance here, just got this lovely page that's just been coffee dyed, but other than that it's completely plain. So again, what you could just do is obviously just tear out just a tiny little piece of lace and just have it just, you know, down the bottom there like that. So we'll just pop that on just down there like that. Okie dokie. Again, here you could do similar thing, or you might want to have like some flowers or something on there, and that's quite nice, isn't it? Do we like that one or this one? I mean, to be honest, I think either are really nice, but let's just go for this. Excuse the back. Obviously, that's where I've been, you know, multiple printing things, trying to get things right. So, and sometimes, you know, I'm reusing because the ink might have gone whilst I was printing something, and it carries on printing, which weirdly it doesn't always carry on printing. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. Or maybe it always does, but sometimes it's less noticeable. I'm not sure what is the case, but anyway. So that looks quite pretty on that page. Then here we've got a slightly slightly thicker page. It's not really thick, but it's just slightly thicker. So again, if I just sort of weigh that down so as it holds it closed. So what we could do here is just create some sort of little cluster. So I've got here this inked inchy. So I'm just going to tear around that like that. And then what we could do is make just a little sort of cluster that we could use also as a little tuck spot. So let me just find, I've got some brown paper bag here. I mean, I love using brown paper bag, so we could just use some of that. Yeah, so let me just tear around that. Tear that down. I mean, all you're really trying to do is sort of make something a little bit more solid to put that on. And then what I will do is just quickly ink up a little bit of detail on the back of that brown paper bag. So again, if I just grab my messy book page to do this, and actually I prefer it this side because it's slightly more, well, it's slightly darker basically. So this was obviously the right side of the bag, and the other side was obviously the inside of the paper bag. Okie dokie. And then what I'm going to do is ink this up before I pop this on, because I don't want to ink up the white doily. I quite like the doily, you know, looking white. So I'll just ink up around this. And then I think it also needs a little bit of sheet music. Yeah, this sheet music's very plain, not very musical. I mean, this is coming from someone who obviously can't read music, so who knows? It might be quite musical. to me it looks quite plain, but maybe it's like playing slower, I don't know. So I'm just going to pop that behind the clock and then just decide, do we want the doily? No. I was going to say, did we want the doily behind, but no. So I think we'll have it sort of layered up like that. Now this is where Jessica Wrap would obviously just use a staple and it would be awesome. Let's just take a bit of lace here as well. Oops, trying to find which is the right way around. So we could have the lace come in there. There or there? Or underneath, I guess. Right, let's just, oh, don't want to glue with the other glue, so let's just glue that doily down. Like that. And then we'll just glue the sheet music. Like that. Oops, not quite like that. Like that. And we've got our inked inkgy, and then we've got just a bit of lace here that we can just push off to the side. So that looks pretty, doesn't it? So I'm just going to glue that down again, just with the 3-in-1. I really can't see whether that's the right way or the wrong way. Hopefully I've got it the right way. Right, and then we're just going to glue this down now on the whole lot. Just like that, okay. Okie dokie. And then we can have this literally as a little sort of tuck that we can tuck something in. Now, if you're a bit concerned that it's not that thick, so it's not going to be robust enough, what we could do here is just literally, sorry about my throat, I don't know what's going on today. It's absolutely fine until I switch the camera on. You can just reinforce it by gluing it onto some book page. I mean, I do always like my pieces quite thick because I just always get a bit worried that they're not going to be thick enough to, you know, and sturdy enough to hold. But and actually, it's quite nice having a bit of the book showing around the edges. So I've just done it like that. And again, just then ink up just a little bit around the edge. Actually, I might get rid of that. There we go. Okay, so that looks really pretty. And we can just have that here as a tuck. So just glue it down. Like that. Really, really pretty, really cute. And then obviously we've got those flowers on the opposite side. That looks really nice. Going over the page. So again, on here, just balance that down again. What should we do on here? We could do just a very basic belly band. So again, I've got some more sheet music here. And I've got these gorgeous ones here with the titles of the songs on, which just are lovely, aren't they? So I'm sure that I had one. Oh, I had bought a couple with things like land and castles, you know, which I thought would be very in keeping with the architecture, but they're in blue. Got Land of Varimontes there, but that's then right. No. So all I'm going to do is take this one here because I love you. I think, or just a bird's eye view might be quite good. So just going to cut that down here. like that. And I'll just take it right way up for a minute so it's just easier to cut. And then just cut it down here. Like that. Now, as you can see, it's very long for the page, so that's fine. I'm just going to trim it down quite a bit. Doesn't matter if it's shorter than the page, obviously, like that. You just don't want it longer than the page. So, oops, again, I'm just going to glue that onto some book page just to reinforce that. When I find my book page, that is. Yep, there we go. Oh, I don't think it's long enough. Just about, that's fine. I can obviously take it down slightly, so that's fine. So just going to glue it. And again, I mean, obviously if you've got a sewing machine, you can obviously, you know, stitch it on your sewing machine. I mean, my sewing machine's not here on my desk, but also I'm trying to keep this really basic. You know, and hopefully you'll find that the results are just beautiful anyway, you know, without having a sewing machine. So don't be deterred if you don't have a sewing machine. I think it's, you know, pretty fine anyway. Okie dokie. And then, I mean, to be honest, I could just, I guess, fold that round. And that's reinforcing it a little bit further. What I should have done, of course, was glued it to the edge of the page, and then I could have just doubled up the book page. Why on earth I didn't think of that is, again, just beyond me. And probably loads of you were watching thinking, well, why doesn't she just do that? Because then she'd only have one side to cut. But I don't know. Sometimes when you're doing videos, you do more strange things than you would ordinarily do. I mean, that's my excuse. Obviously, when I'm not doing videos, none of you will know whether I'm doing strange things or not. But I like to think that it's the fact that you're doing a video that you do these strange things. I doubt it is really in my case. I think I probably do strange things like this all the time. But so I'm going to get rid of that. I was going to leave the copyright thing, but I'm going to get rid of it because obviously otherwise it's quite a wide piece. So we'll just get rid of that like that. And we're just going to have this as a little belly band, or of course you could have it as a little pocket, completely up to you. And again, if you haven't got any sheet music, you could use book page, you could use, you know, anything you like. Old calendar page, old pages from diaries, anything. Anything is fine. So don't feel you have to use sheet music, you know. I just happen to have that here and thought it would look nice. Okay, so I was going to have it as a belly band, but I might prefer it on the side. Oh, let's have it as a belly band. Okay. Now what happened, I didn't trim that down in the end, so I left it longer than the book page. So I'm going to put, oh, excuse me, my phone's ringing. My phone never rings. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Right, so I'm just going to pop this down now on the page here. Oops. Like that. So, I mean, again, you know, I haven't decorated that up or anything, you know. So, I mean, personally, I think that looks pretty just exactly as it is. So no need really to decorate it. But of course, you know, if you want to, I mean, you could just sort of put it like this. Just going to put this bit of lace across. Oops. Don't know what's going on with my 3-in-1 today. It's kind of like really very squidgy. What's happened to my wipe now? I think. down like that. Oh, now covered in glue. Don't know why, but yep, covered in glue there. Oh well, never mind. So yeah, I mean, I haven't decorated that belly band up at all. I think it looks super pretty just exactly as it is. And what you could do, instead of decorating on the belly band, is you could just put something to the side. So again, let me just see what flowers and things that I've got here in my little stash here to the side that I just pulled in ready to use with this. I'm just looking for certain ones, and now I can't see them anyway. Oh, I can't see them. Let me just ink this up. So I hope everyone's having a good day. Hope you're doing a bit of crafting, and if you're making, you know, your first junk journal, I hope you're having a great time and it's coming together lovely. I mean, they're just such fun to make, and I just love the fact, you know, there really aren't any right or wrongs. It's literally a case of anything you want to put on there, you can. You know, which is just awesome, isn't it? Because there's not much in life. I'm going to stick it there. There's not much in life that is completely rule-free. So just have fun and literally go where the you know, where you fancy, where, what's the expression, where the feeling takes you, where, I don't know, but yeah, just literally just enjoy and, you know, have fun with what you're making. Right, so that's that, and let's have a look what we're going to pop in the pocket. Just having a bit of a rummage here to the side. No, don't want to use that. Well, to be fair, I mean, I've got some just some sheets of paper here. Oops. What have I got here? So we could make just a little booklet, really. Pop in. Let's do that. So again, all I've done, this was just some book page that was obviously laying around on my desk. You can double that up if you want to. I mean, I might not, to be honest, because we're doing just, you know, a super basic journal. I might not even sort of double it up. I might just leave it exactly as it is. And then just find some scraps of paper. So I've got some more of that we've been using, obviously, as the background page. So again, if I just take that and chop it down like that. I just need to chop that down quite a bit. Okay, you can just slot inside there. Just take that down a little bit more at the top. Okay, and then you can just literally staple that together. You know, so I mean, we really are just using the most basic of tools. You know, you don't need sort of fancy things or anything like that. We're just using, you know, the most basic of basic things here. So, excuse me, I don't know what got caught in the drawer then. And again, if you haven't got a corner rounder, I personally think that looks fine. If you have and you want to round the corners, you can just round them off. I mean, I don't think you have to. I think it looks perfectly nice without having the corners rounded. But of course, you know, you may decide that you would like to. So let me just get rid of all my bits and bobs here. Ooh. Just dropping everywhere. Okay. So again then, once you've got your your page, you might want to just ink it up a bit, like that. Like that. And then you could just pop something on the front. So, I mean, again, I'm going to just use, I think, this lady, because I just happen to have her from when we were using all the crafty individual stamps. So, you know, that's then one less thing on my desk. So just tear around her very fiddly, because I haven't got much grabbing room for tearing around this, unfortunately. Okie dokie. But as you can see, I mean, it was absolutely fine. And you might want to layer it up. So again, I might just use a little bit of the sheet music. Like that. So I'm just going to tear that down. And then I'll just ink this quickly a bit before we pop it on, because obviously I've already inked that book page, so I don't really want to go over it again, especially with my such juicy ink pad, because my gosh, it would look really, really inked up. So I just go over it like that. Now this is very thin sheet music. This is different to this one. So I'm going to do it with the 3-in-1, because I don't trust that tacky glue to not mark it. You know, because it doesn't seem like it's that much thicker than the doily, to be honest. I'll just pop that down like that. And then we'll just ink this lady. We can pop her down there. Okay, and then again, you know, you might want to, for continuity, just have a little flower or something beside her. So I'll just see what flowers I've got here. Maybe those. So just pop those on. Okay, so that's your little booklet that you can just tuck in there. So I mean, there was literally nothing to making that. It just came together super easily, but you know, looks really pretty and really cute. I'm just going to see whether I want to have some lace at the top. So let me pull my neck curtain back in. I'm just going to do what we did last time and just cut off like a whole length of it that I can then just keep using. I'm sure you're all thinking, my gosh, how much of that curtain has she got? But I mean, obviously this was from my nan, you know, who obviously passed just before Christmas, but this was from her house that she, you know, had before she moved down kind of with all of us. So, I mean, obviously it was her whole house. So she had like the front and the back of her house. I mean, not that it was massive, but it was one of those 1970s houses where the windows are massive. So, I mean, I'm not sure how many windows there were. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe five windows or something. But they were all those huge windows that those 1970s houses have. So, you know, yes, I do have a lot of the curtain, because obviously, you know, 5 of those huge windows resulted in a lot of curtain, I suppose. So yeah, I've had it for absolutely ages. I mean, I've had it, I think, pretty much since I started doing the junk journals. And I go through phases where I dig it out and use it all the time, and then I obviously forget about it and don't really use it for a while. But you know, it's brilliant lace. So I mean, when I finally get through all 5 of her windows, I'll be gutted, you know, and wish that I hadn't rushed through it quite so much. Right, so that's that page done. Now I'm just having a look. Obviously last time we made a little pocket just using this scrap of the scrapbook paper. So again, obviously I've got this left, and what we can do is make another one and have it on this page. So I'm thinking we might have a corner tuck at the top. So I'm just going to cut that down. I'll just cut it down here. Like that. Right, so I mean, actually I want to take some of that off because otherwise it's like huge. There we go. And we're just going to decorate that up. So again, we don't want to bulk it out or make it too flamboyant or anything like that. We're just going to put a couple of little bits and pieces on there. So what have I got laying about? Got my dictionary definitions. So we can have one of those. Just having a look to see. Because I'm doing this on a different day, I don't know about you guys, but once it's a different day, my flow is just generally going to be different because I've sort of forgotten what things I was using last time. So hence the continuity not being quite the same in the front and the back of the journal. I mean, I don't know whether that's just me or whether that's something that we all find, but definitely, you know, that's definitely something that happens with me. So I'm just having a look through, and I think I should have another one of those. Oh no, I was going to say another one of those inked inchies, but actually I don't think I have because I think we just used it, didn't we? Right, I have got my little number tabs. So I think I might use one of those instead of the dictionary. So let me just take this one here, number 9. Like that. I'll just ink around that before placing it onto the page. And this has just been printed on copy paper, so it's not very thick or anything. So I'll just pop that there. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? And then, do I have any doily left? Have I done with the doily? Is this just turning into one of those videos where, like, I'm just constantly looking for things? If it's any consolation, it's just as annoying to me as it is to you guys. Oh, I don't know. Right, got some bigger doily at the back, so let's use some of that. Doesn't matter because we tear it down anyway, so to be honest, it doesn't really matter what size the doily actually is. With that one, it's just torn in half whilst I was tearing it anyway. Right. So let's just see about using this piece. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? Actually, might have it like that. Okay, so I'm going to glue that on now before I change my mind. Like that. Okay. Oops. And then we're just going to pop this down here. Like that. Okie dokie. And then shall we pop a flower on anywhere? Let's just see. What have I got here? I just pulled in a random sort of bunch, but I don't know really whether I've got a small enough one actually. Well, I guess we could have, oh no, that's weird. That's definitely weird. But actually that's quite nice poking out to the side, isn't it? So perhaps we should have that. Trying to be a bit more eclectic and not quite so matchy-matchy here. So ordinarily I have an urge to obviously match the flower up with the facing page. But I'm trying to let that go and not do that. Certainly for this journal anyway. I might do it next time, but hopefully just let it go for this one at least. So I'll just glue this flower down here. And again then, I'm just going to glue this down, and I will take the 3-in-1 and do it with that. So we're just going to glue that down like that. Excuse my head. Just I need to obviously check that it's, you know, butt up to the, butt it up to the flush with the edge of the page, let's just say. So there we go. So really, really easy, like dead easy, but really pretty, you know, no less pretty than something that's a bit more fancy, I think. So, I mean, you could have some lace on there. I feel like it doesn't need lace because I feel like then it's almost like a frame, unless I put the lace up here. So perhaps I'll have just a tiny bit up there. Yeah, I'll just have that up there. Okay, just press that down. Okay, so looking good so far. So just going back through, so we need obviously a couple of little tags to pop into those bits, don't we? So again, I might just cut out a couple of photos or you know, postcards or something. So just cut this one out. And then we'll do this one here, I think. Oh, I think I have more horrible cutting on that one. Just completely wonky, I think, again. Never mind. Just, oh, I don't know what happens some days, but... Okay. Okay, nearly done. So, I mean, not obviously hugely exciting watching me just cut out the photos to tuck in, but I mean, you know, we're just trying to demonstrate here some simple little pieces there that you can tuck in. So just have that one just tucking in there. In fact, we'll have two, I think, going up there. Okay, and that one. And then where's the other one? Where's our cluster? Oh, where is our cluster? Where has it gone? Oh my gosh, now I've never lost something whilst I'm actually filming before, like that's glued in. I don't think anyway. So that was definitely a first. I actually lost where it was. I felt like it was further back than that. But anyway. So we just ink that like that. Now, I do remember that in the pages that we did last time, I just did some random script stamping, and that's the type of thing that I'm talking about, that, you know, different day I might do something completely different, and then if I was doing it through the book, it would suddenly then have quite a different look on different days, if you see what I mean. So what I'm going to do is just do a bit of random script stamping on some of these pages, you know, further into the journal, because I'm just aware that this could end up looking, you know, very different at the front to at the back, which obviously that would be a bit weird. So I'm just going to randomly stamp actually right throughout the whole journal. So, and then if I want to stamp some other things, I can, but at least I've got that flow going right the way through now, where otherwise I just didn't. So we just, you know, just do those little bits of script randomly. Just do a bit there. That was one of the pages that we did last time, so obviously hadn't done any script on that one. Maybe a bit of that on there. Did I not do script? Oh, I did. I thought for a minute, well, that's weird. There hasn't been any so far. Okay, that's fine. So I'll just do a little bit here as well, in case I forget next time. Okay, that's fine. So now we're kind of all up to date with our scripty stamping. Okay, isn't it just horrible when you think, oh, perhaps I didn't do that. Perhaps I just thought about doing it. Right, okay. So I'm just going to check what the time is, how long we've been filming for. Obviously, I've been thrown off where I had to stop when my phone rang earlier. I can't really see. I think it says 25, and I'm sure that it was up to 29 when I had to switch off earlier. So we might have to call it quits there for the day, and come back next time. But I mean, as you can see, the journal really is, you know, coming together, and we don't have that much more to do. So it's definitely, this is probably like the speediest journal that I've ever done in my whole life. You know, but we're still keeping it super simple and, you know, hopefully super accessible to everybody. So I hope you'll join me next time, and we will do a bit more. We might even get it finished, because, you know, there really isn't that much more to do. Or it might take another couple of videos, I guess. So I'm not sure, but hopefully you'll join me next time, and thank you so much for watching. Thanks then. Bye.